In the Vietnam War, U.S. Navy pilots were losing dogfights badly. For every 2 enemy planes they shot down, they were losing one of their own. Something had to change. So, they created a special school. You might have heard of it. Top Gun. And the results were insane. Their kill ratio jumped from 2 to 1 to over 12.5 to 1. They didn't get new planes. They didn't get new pilots. They just completely changed how they practiced. And the secret method they used is the same one you can use to master any skill you want. Now, what on earth does a fighter pilot have to do with you trying to learn an instrument, get better at your job, or finally master a new language? The shocking answer is everything.
Let me tell you about a wild experiment at a music school in Tokyo. Scientists took 24 perfectly ordinary kids, between 2 and 6 years old, and put them through a special training program. The goal? To teach them perfect pitch. You know, that thing where someone can hear a note and instantly name it. It's considered a super rare ability, something only 1 in 10,000 people are supposedly born with, a true gift. But after just a few months of this special training, every single one of them developed it. 100%. Think about what that means. Perfect pitch isn't a magical lottery ticket you get at birth. It's a skill that can be built.
And this idea completely changes how we look at history's greatest naturals. Take Mozart. We all have this image of him as a little kid just magically writing perfect symphonies. But the truth? His father was a famous and incredibly demanding music teacher who started his intense, full-time training before Mozart was even 4 years old. Many of his earliest compositions were actually written down in his father's handwriting, likely as part of his lessons. His first truly great original masterpiece didn't come until he'd been training for more than a decade. His genius was forged, day by day, not bestowed upon him at birth. And this is the most important idea you need to grasp. Your potential is not a fixed cup that you're born with, and you either have a big one or a small one. It's a muscle, and with the right kind of exercise, it can grow almost indefinitely. So the biggest excuse we all use, I'm just not talented enough, is officially off the table, which leads to the real question. What is the right kind of exercise?
Okay, so if talent is a lie, the answer must be practice, right? Well, yes and no. Because it turns out most of us practice the wrong way. We do what scientists call naive practice. It's just mindless repetition. It's playing the same song on the guitar over and over. It's hitting a bucket of golf balls without a specific target. It's driving your car every day. And here's the scary part. Naive practice doesn't just lead to slow improvement, it often leads to no improvement at all. Researchers found that after a few years, many doctors who had been practicing for 20 years actually perform worse on certain objective measures than doctors who are only 5 years out of medical school. Why? Because after a while, their work becomes automatic. They get comfortable. They stop actively trying to improve. They're just doing the work, and their skills slowly fade. This is the trap we all fall into. But there's a way out. It's a specific, highly structured method called Purposeful Practice. Think of it like an engine for building skill, and it runs on 4 simple rules. And the best way to understand them is through the story of a college student named Steve Falloon. Steve volunteered for a memory experiment. At the start, he was totally average. He could remember about 7 digits in a row, just like most of us. But over 2 years, using this system, he got to a mind-blowing 82 digits. Here's how the engine worked for him, and how it can work for you. Rule number 1. Have a specific, well-defined goal. Steve's goal was never vague like, get better at memorizing. In every single session, his goal was crystal clear. Remember 1 more digit than his previous record. That's it. This tiny, specific target gave him something concrete to aim for every single time.
Rule number 2. Intense, uninterrupted focus.
This wasn't casual memorization while checking his phone. Audio recordings of Steve's sessions are wild. You can hear him giving himself pep talks, pounding the table, and making excited noises. He was completely locked in, giving the task 100% of his mental energy. Real improvement only happens when you are fully present. Rule number 3, immediate and informative feedback. This one is crucial. The second Steve finished reciting the numbers, the researcher told him if he was right or wrong. Instantly. This immediate feedback loop allowed him to know exactly what was working and what wasn't, so he could adjust his strategy for the very next attempt. Without feedback, you're just practicing blind. And finally, the most important rule of all. Rule number 4, constantly operate outside your comfort zone. The entire experiment was designed to keep Steve struggling. The moment he succeeded at memorizing 34 digits, the researchers gave him 35. He was always at the very edge of his ability, which is where all growth happens. If your practice feels easy and comfortable, you're not getting better. You're just repeating what you already know.
Specific goals, intense focus, immediate feedback, and pushing your limits. That's it. That's the engine. It's what took Steve from 7 digits to 82. It's what the Top Gun pilots used to become the best in the world. And it's the system you can use for anything you want to improve. But what is this engine actually building inside your brain? The answer is the real secret to how experts see the world. And it's a lot like having a superpower.
So that 4-part engine is how you practice. But what is it actually building inside your brain? This is where we get to the real secret, the superpower of every single expert on the planet. Through all that focused, difficult practice, they are slowly building an incredibly detailed mental map of their skill. The best way to understand this is with chess grandmasters. Scientists did this incredible experiment. They'd show a grandmaster a chessboard from the middle of a real game for just 5 seconds. Then they'd ask them to recreate it from memory. The grandmasters could do it almost perfectly. The beginners, they can only remember a few pieces. The obvious conclusion is, wow, chess masters must have a photographic memory. But that's not it.
Because here's the twist that changes everything. The scientists did the experiment again, but this time they arranged the same number of pieces on the board completely at random, in positions that would never happen in a real game. And what happened? The Grandmaster's superpower vanished. They were no better than the beginners. They could only remember a few pieces. This proves their skill isn't a super memory. It's a super map. They haven't memorized the position of 22 individual pieces. Through thousands of hours of study, they've learned to see the board as a handful of meaningful patterns, or chunks. They see a king's Indian defense structure the same way you see a face. It's one thing, not a collection of parts. This mental map is the expert's secret weapon in every field.
An expert quarterback isn't just seeing 22 guys running around. He sees the play unfolding as a recognizable pattern he's seen 1,000 times before. A master musician doesn't just play the notes. They have a rich, detailed map of how the music should sound and feel long before they touch their instrument. This mental map is the ultimate goal of your practice. It's what allows you to make better decisions, see things others can't, and perform at a level that looks like magic to everyone else. But that raises a big question. If this is so powerful, why do so many of us get stuck practicing for years without ever building a map like that? Well, it's because of a sneaky trap our brain sets for us.
Okay, so that all sounds great, but a huge question is probably popping into your head right now. Wait a minute, I do practice my hobby. I do my job every day. Why aren't I a grandmaster yet? And that is the right question to ask. The answer is because of a sneaky, powerful force I call the autopilot trap. Here's the thing about your brain. It's incredibly efficient. Its main goal is to save energy. So the moment you become good enough at a skill to get by, your brain does something clever. It takes that skill, bundles it up, and puts it on autopilot. Think about driving a car. After the first year or two, you stop thinking about it.
You can drive to work while listening to a podcast, planning your day. You're not actively improving your driving skill anymore. You're just using it.
And that is why someone can drive for 20 years and never get any better at it. They're stuck in the autopilot trap. Their brain decided their skill was good enough and stopped building the map. This is the real reason we all hit plateaus. The only way to break out of it, the only way to keep getting better, is to purposefully declare war on that autopilot mode. And the weapon you use in that war? It's the 4-part practice engine we just talked about. Its entire purpose is to force your brain to switch off autopilot and get back to the hard work of building a better map. So how do you actually do that? How do you apply this to your own life? Let me distill everything we've learned into a super simple 3-step plan you can start using today.
First, deconstruct and target. Stop thinking about your big, vague goal like get better at public speaking or learn to code. Break it down into its tiniest components and find the one specific piece that's holding you back. So it's not be a better speaker. It's I want to stop saying and when I'm explaining an idea. That's your target. Second, design a push drill. Now, create a short, focused exercise that forces you to work only on that weakness, right at the edge of your comfort zone. For our speaker, that means taking out your phone, hitting record, and trying to talk about your day for 60 seconds straight without a single filler word. It will feel awkward. It will feel hard. That is how you know it's working. And third, find the feedback. You have to know instantly how you did. Watch that 60-second video back. Count how many times you slipped up. The feedback is right there. It's not about judging yourself. It's just data. Then you make a small adjustment and you go again. Deconstruct, drill, feedback. Repeat.
It's not glamorous, but this simple loop is the engine that builds that expert mental map, brick by brick. So the next time you hit a wall, the next time you feel stuck and that little voice in your head tells you that you've reached your limit, that you just don't have the talent, remember the fighter pilots at Top Gun. Remember the kids who were taught perfect pitch. Remember Steve Falloon counting to 82. Their secret wasn't a gift they were born with. It was a system they built. The path to doing something exceptionally well isn't a mystery. It's a choice. A choice to stop practicing on autopilot and start practicing with purpose. Because the only true limit isn't in your DNA. It's the one you decide to stop pushing. Hey, if you got any value out of this video, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives just like this one.